This is the Live Well and Thrive podcast, hosted by Michael Torchia, health and wellness expert. It's time to shape up, America.
Hi, it's Mike Torchia. Welcome to Live Well and Thrive. I have a very special guest. He's a dear friend of mine for probably 20 years or so. His name is Dawan Scott. He played pro ball. He was in various different leagues around the world, actually 35 countries he played in. Very dear friends with Shaq, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan. He does a lot of philanthropy. He does a lot of charity events, golf tournaments, Special Olympics. He's just a really special soul, and he's here to share his story and his life journey with us. So enjoy the show. Welcome.
Mike, my man. How you
Thank
doing?
you.
Looking good, dude.
Thank you. You too. You
Making
look
me
sharp.
suck in my stomach.
Man, you know, it's so funny. We may not even talk for years.
Yeah.
Then one of us will just decide to call,
Yeah.
and we pick up like we just spoke yesterday.
That's how it's supposed to be, though.
You know, it's just nice that way. That's what I loved about you. You've always been a solid friend, and you're always doing great things with the kids, and you.
I've got no choice. You know what I mean? I taught in LA Unified for years, and then now I'm bouncing around trying to help with LA 28 kids, the Special Olympic kids.
Yeah.
Where, you know, I guess it was the imprint I had from educators that were around me, and then I just never knew I would fall in love with it.
Yeah, you know, because I love the fact that you spend so much of your time now putting together these programs and working with the kids. You were working with Michael Jordan's basketball camp for a while?
Yeah, I did it. I helped start those camps. It was derived from, I introduced Michael Jackson to Michael Jordan.
Wow.
And that was a crazy story. And from it, Jordan put me in the movie Space Jam. I'm two of the Monstars.
Yeah.
And then when he started his basketball camp in Santa Barbara, I ran the French division because I was bringing kids over from Monaco, Tunisia, Switzerland, and they had the best 2 weeks of their lives. We take them to Disneyland, Beverly Hills to go shopping at the Nike store. They go to basketball camps with Magic at UCLA.
Wow.
And then we go down there and meet Michael Jordan when he's winning championships. And so I did that for about 7 years.
Well, so what was it like to be around these incredibly talented superstars?
I was a sponge. It was very interesting because I got to see, you know, when you're in the inner circle, and one thing I was blessed to do was to be in the inner circle of Jordan and Shaq at the same time. And that's rare because it's that A-list and B-list, McDonald's versus Burger King and Coke versus Pepsi and Nike versus Reebok. And so I'm filming Space Jam in the daytime with Jordan, and at night I'm filming Shazam with Shaq. So I'm going back and forth, and then I'm bringing Shaq to go practice with Jordan up at the Jordan Dome. So, you know, whether it was them or Michael Jackson, because I did Harry, loved my Bigfoot character. So he used to
Harry Henderson, the TV show. Yeah, so I love that show.
Mike used to pay me $10,000 a day to do practical jokes on celebrities while wearing an Academy Award-winning Bigfoot costume. And that's how I was able to introduce him to Jordan. And that's how it turned into. And one of the coolest things, I'll say this, it's the day I'm meeting Michael Jordan, and we're on the set. The director's Joe Pitka, who got me in the Screen
I know
Actors
Joe
Guild.
from Gold's Gym, yeah.
Joe got me my first job, a Budweiser commercial that ran for 3 years, and he did this commercial Space Jam, which nobody knew was going to be a film, right? And so I'm on set meeting Jordan, and a grip walks by and says, Michael Jackson's over here on set doing something. And Michael Jordan goes, I never met Michael Jackson. And I go, in my naivete, do you want to meet him? Not knowing I was going to shut down 2 productions. And Jordan looks at me like, yeah, buddy, go ahead. And so I leave and go over to where's Jackson set at. And his security team's like, it's Bigfoot, Harry, what's going on? I said, where's Jackson? He said he's in there watching the Three Stooges with Macaulay Culkin and Another Bad Creation. Oh, wow. And I walk in there and he goes, Harry, it's Harry, everybody. And he was on one. I said, well, Michael Jordan wants to meet you. He wants to meet me? I said, yeah. Well, who's the bigger star? I swim with sharks and I do it quite well. but I stay in my lane. And I have no answer. I'm not going to dive into that pool. And he said, well, should he come see me or should I come see him? That's how humble he was. And if I would have said, you should go over there or I'll go get it, whatever I would have said, Michael Jackson would have went along with it.
Sure.
And I was like, wow. So he was like, went over to his people, see if you'll come meet me. And I'm like, okay. So I go over to Jordan's set and he said, come over. And Joe Picker was like, let's go. And now we're working the very first Bugs Bunny Michael Jordan commercial. So Jordan is making $50 million every sponsor. So he's got Rayovac batteries there, Nike's there, Oakley sunglasses is there, the bowling ball people, and all of these executives are there with their kids ready to sign something. And I don't know how long they have Michael Jordan, and they've been patiently waiting. And then here I come in kidnapping the star, and they're like, what's going on? And it broke out in a pandemonium. And Joe goes, we're going to go meet Michael Jackson. And they all stop. And then they turned into 5-year-old kids and get in line like they were invited. Yeah, and they started coming. And as soon as we opened the soundstage door, Michael Jackson had a camera. He's filming it all. And we walk over, and then we walk in the soundstage, and he's got more cameras. And I go, Michael, meet Michael. And that's how the music video Jam came about.
And then you guys got close.
Yeah. And, so
that's
it's
beautiful,
like,
man.
So, Jordan, you still owe me a favor.
How is Michael doing?
Michael, which MJ, I don't talk to him often, man. It's like, now he's married, we moved on. It's like you said, I don't need to see somebody for years, and then if I call him or I see him or whatever it is, it's like we never, missed out. So,
but you stay pretty tight with Shaq, though.
Shaq is my brother.
Yeah.
Shaq, what wound up happening is because, and I admire your fitness program, what you're doing with the military. The deal is this. I took Kareem to Saudi Arabia to entertain the troops back during the Gulf War. And we played 7 games throughout the kingdom, different soldiers, different troops, the whole night. That was a heck of an experience. But Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, agent, wind up signing Shaquille O'Neal when he came out of college. And so because I had made Kareem all that money from that trip from the royal family, I was in charge of and had a Hollywood background when Shaq was doing Blue Chips. It was my job to just like referee anything that he needed and welcome him into the business and let him know, like, man, you don't need to say that. Send that back to the writers and tell them to write it until you feel comfortable. Say, I can do. Yeah, you can do that. So I became his little brother, and then he put me under his wing, and I wound up being, man, I love this brother so much. He took care of my family for decades. I wound up being put in Super Bowl commercials alongside him, Olympic commercials, March Madness commercials, and then became his stunt man, his body double, his stand-in, his technical advisor. I tell you, like, Shaq he's not going to like it like that. It better be the left hand. It better be, so we were just a team forever and ever and a day.
I remember that day we went to that school, and you and Shaq were doing that pain cream commercial.
Yeah, that was one of his first Icy Hot commercials.
Yeah.
And
it was the first. He was such a lovely soul, really kind and respectful.
Yeah, he's the package, man. I can't say enough about my biggest bro.
Yeah, I know you're trying to put something together, maybe something with Schwarzenegger and
Shaq. I want to put them two back together again. What happened is Flavor Flav really kicked the door in when he sponsored the polo teams for the Olympics. And so now that door is open, he basically invited any other celebrity to sponsor an Olympic team, and so far nobody has. So I'm going to go call out to my brother Shaq because he has so many different companies like Reebok, for example. He has Champion. So I'd like, since Arnold Schwarzenegger is your guy, to put them two together so that we can sponsor the U.S. weightlifting team for starters.
Wow.
And then I think those two are perfect. I mean, Arnold is the #1 box office action hero, and Shaq, superstar ball player, but also the #1 commercial guy of our age.
Oh, he's not everywhere.
He owns 100 companies. So
now, didn't he acquire Reebok?
He is, and that's funny. I'm in the very first commercials alongside him with Reebok. Now he's turned around and owns the company. Matter of fact, I just got sent while I was sitting over here a text about how him and Allen Iverson is the vice president, and how they just finished a docu-series about them owning the company and how they run Reebok. But it's like this guy owns everything from Sports Illustrated. He owns the rights to Michael Jackson, Elvis Presley, Madonna.
Oh, my God.
He's with Authentic Brands. They have everything. If he wanted to, he could. There's only 36 Olympic events. He could sponsor all 36 Olympic events with the 100 companies that he owns. So, I'll put that on the table out there. Don't let this air before I talk to him.
No, I think it's beautiful what you're doing, especially to bring Shaq and Arnold Schwarzenegger together. It'd be fantastic.
And this past weekend, I just went to go volunteer for the Special Olympics. And Arnold I remember him being a part of the Special Olympics forever and a day. Yeah. So if this works out perfectly, we'll start with Special Olympics, but then we'll go all the way to the Paralympics after the Olympics. So he can do the Olympics, the Paralympics. And because this is LA, there's nothing to stop us from doing the World Cup, which is also coming to Los Angeles. NBA All-Star game is coming to Los Angeles. And the Super Bowl is coming to Los Angeles. So Arnold and Shaq, as an action hero, can do a lot of real good.
We'll have to put that together, man.
Let's do that.
Awesome.
Let's do it.
So now, are you working with any of the camps at all with the kids, or you put that?
No, what I want to do is start doing. I used to do celebrity basketball games. That was my deal. You know, I used to raise a lot of money for schools. We would have. It's the funnest thing when you get the teachers from your school playing against the celebrities that come visit. The kids get a crack up. You either find out that Mr. So-and-so, the science teacher, actually got game, or he's as horrible as you think he is. And then the radio stations are really good because they want to talk about it. And all actors want to be ball players, and entertainers want to be ball players, and all ball players want to be actors. So you throw it out there and you ask 50 people to show up, and if 10 show up, you're all good. And then now that I've fallen in love with golf, I want to expand it so that we do celebrity basketball games and we do celebrity golf tournaments, because everybody loves to golf.
Yeah,
and everybody likes to pair. And it's an easy way to give back to where you came from.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
And so what do you do now for fitness yourself?
I've fooled around and gained a lot of weight, because when you play ball for a living and you're in shape most of your life, like Michael Jordan used to say, he couldn't wait to get a pot gut. And he got one, and then it was over. You know what I'm saying? So I picked up a lot of weight, and then because I've had some heart issues, I drilled down on just being smart. Like today is intermediate fasting. I haven't eaten anything all day today. I'll have one meal today, just like yesterday. Yeah. I love swimming. I jump in that water, man, and it's 45 minutes to an hour a day. Yeah. I jog in the pool. I swim in the pool. I do so many exercises, and I have a whole routine that's all in the pool. And, I love riding bikes. So those two things kind of keep me.
What about the lifting weights, or you're not doing anything?
You know what? I need somebody like you to teach me to do it properly. I never was a big weightlifter,
Well, you think of your body as a piece of clay,
mm-hmm.
and the weight training exercises are the tools to use to sculpt the details. So think of it as you're a big piece of clay right now. So you want to sculpt the abs, you want to sculpt the pecs and the shoulders and define it, because the swimming and the jogging in the pool and all that, it'll burn calories, but it's not muscle building, so to say. It's shaping. But as we get older, we need weight resistant movements. In the senior homes, they've cut back significantly with the medication for bone density, because they found that when they just moderate weight training 3 times a week, the seniors don't have any bone density issues. Because you got to remember, as you get older, your bones get very fragile, and you could fall and shatter your elbow or whatever. And they found the weight training was better than the medication, because the medication puts a lot of pressure on the kidneys, the liver, the pancreas, all your organs. So the least amount of drugs you put in your body, more apt to you being healthier and less complication to your health of your organs, you know. So weight training, even if you did it twice a week mixed with the pool and the other things you're doing, you'll start to see better form, better shape. You don't need a six-pack, but it'd be nice just to have better shape. Yeah. So this week you see, I want a little more bicep. I want a little more shoulder. Or, I'd like to, build up my legs a little bit. My knees have been bothering me. Because you got to understand, when you train the quadricep muscle, which is that teardrop around the kneecap, that's like a natural brace. So maybe from all the years of pounding, you have that sensitivity to the knees. The best thing you could do is leg curls and actually leg extensions, because then you don't have to worry about putting pressure on the spine from squats. And people don't realize working your calves is important, because the calf muscle, which is your lower leg, is the most powerful pump in your body. And when you train your calves, it stimulates massive amounts of blood to go to your heart. So it keeps your healthier, right? So you with the heart, it increases the blood flow, less plaque building up, because it's flushing through the heart. So if you do your calves 3 times a week, even just do calf raises, 3 sets of like 20 reps on the stairs there, that's going to flush the blood to your heart. Now, when you start doing all that, and you got to remember, when you have strong calves, that's the body's natural shock absorber. Because most of the time people are stepping on their heel of their foot and jamming their kneecap, right? Now your calves are absorbing the impact when you're walking, when you're running, when you're jogging. So now you're taking the load off of your kneecaps. So between the leg extension, leg curls, some calf raises, do that a couple of times a week, that'll help you overall for your structure. So you got to kind of train with a purpose. Not just go, I'm going to work out. Well, you don't do that. It's like when you go practice, you had to plan what you're doing. We're going to do drills. We're going to do layups. We're going to do this, right? So you have to go in the gym with a plan and a purpose of what you want to achieve. And that's what I tell people to do. You got to say, okay, if I'm going to start my diet and start my workout program, what is your goal? What do you want to achieve? And how am I going to achieve it? Is by designing a workout. Because you got to remember, you may say, Mike, whatever I do, my arms grow like crazy. But man, my chest doesn't grow. Okay, well, priority's the chest. Less emphasis on the stronger points. The same thing with the back or legs. So when you start to assess your body, the most important thing is you want proportion and symmetry. Because you've overdeveloped your chest around your shoulders and puts pressure on your spine. So a lot of times when people do all these push-ups every day, well, now you have all this, the front deltoid and the chest develop, but you have no rear deltoid or back muscles. So now you're creating an imbalance in your spine. And then you have to start to have back problems because you're tilting forward. Now also, too, kids today, and I do a lot of lecturing with kids, they're like this all the time. Do you know when you tilt your head just in that position, just like that, you're restricting the blood flow to your brain by 40%. That means you think slower, you retain less information, right? You're not as quick thinking. So what I do with the kids is, my dear friend Tom Root created this program called Brain Breaks. Every 20 minutes, get up, stretch, do some, overhead, reaching back, just some stretching movements, pull the shoulders back, do some deep breaths in and out, sip some water, then sit back down. That's resetting everything. Then let the blood go to the heart, from the heart all the way up to the brain. You're feeding the brain the food it needs, the blood. So you can think. So especially in school, these kids can think more proficiently, more quickly. But even as adults, we need to make sure we take a break. Even if sometimes you're working on the computer, you go 3 or 4 hours. Get up every 20 minutes, or at least half hour. Just walk. Go to the kitchen, get something to drink, come back, stretch out a little bit, go back. Because you're just slowing down your ability to process with the brain. So that's why I do a lot with the kids to explain how certain things you're doing, menial things, can be help in a positive way and can hurt in a negative way. These little things can add up. But for you, with your build, it wouldn't be bad to get a little more definement. You feel better. You get your clothes, you walk in, because sometimes people feel great. Like I had these incredible CEOs, COOs of corporations. You go, Mike, when I have my Prada suit on, I feel like a knight of shining armor. I got my sword. But man, when I'm in the gym, my belly's sticking out, and I see these young bucks with guns like you, I feel like nothing. I said, isn't it a shame you take your clothes off and that's how you feel? In fact, I always tell women when they say, boy, you look good, I go, well, I look even better with no clothes on. That was my line for many years, right? But when you look better with no clothes, when you wear clothes, you feel like a superhero. So I tell people, it's your mindset. When you're physically fit, you feel like invincible. So for kids especially, anything we do, let's do something with the kids, because when the kids feel empowered,
Yeah.
they'll achieve so much more.
Yeah.
You know, because when they don't feel good about themselves, they shut down. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but like when you had the kids in the Michael Jordan camp, were they doing weight training? Were they do other kind of conditioning?
No, it was, we went through a metamorphosis. I mean, originally we started out getting the kids together and we just had them. Mike was very serious about, let me tell you something about Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan would tell the coaches, he said, like, when he started to practice, and, they have film when they scout out how to stop you, they would tell Jordan, he says, oh, he can't go left. So he would work on his left until it was perfect. They said, well, he can't shoot off the dribble. Then he'd work on a dribble until, off the dribble. And he said, he can't drop step. And he would drop step. And he said, he can't handle a double team. He said, I worked on every facet of the game until I perfected it, so that in the film room, when they got to me, they said, well, he's just going to get his. Move along and try to stop the other 4. Let's just try to keep him under 50. We'll have a chance.
Wow.
So Mike actually really taught us his training secrets to teach to the kids.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was. The jab steps, everything that he did, and when I see it, and when I see the disciples that come from the cap, the kids that took it to heart, the whole 9 yards, how it impacted their games, got them to college, got them into the pros in some cases. So that's kind of how it went down. But what I'm really impressed with too is just after you were breaking it down, is I can just really see when it's time for us to do train our Olympic athletes for the wealth of information that you have that you can share for them and for our youth. I mean, that really just needs to come under your fitness umbrella to get it done.
Hey, it's Mike Torchia. I got great news. My sponsor, Texas Slim Cuts, is providing a line of products for Live Well and Thrive. We're going to have high-quality beef jerky sticks that are high protein, not full of any chemicals and dyes and additives that are toxic to the body. Also, we're going to be offering desiccated liver tablets, high protein, antioxidant. We're also going to have 100% beef protein powder in 3 different flavors. Delicious, mixes easily, and is so smooth to drink. And it can be put into your oatmeal and other beverages if you want to add some flavor. Also, final product that we're going to be launching is a organic butter infused with olive oil. Creamy, great tasting, and spread smoothly over your toast, or you can cook with it too. Nothing that's going to have any kind of toxic ingredients or questionable ingredients. So go to operationfitness.com. Within the next few months, you're going to start to see this whole line of products made by Texas Slim Cuts and the ranches up in Texas, and it'll be under the label of Live Well and Thrive products. Thanks for watching, and thanks again for Texas Slim for sponsoring this show, making it possible. And remember, you need to subscribe to YouTube channel. That keeps my show going. And share the episodes. Thank you. Yeah, because, when I work with people, all my years I've worked with people, I cover every single aspect. I mean, I talk about the nutrition, the mindset, because mentally, physically, emotionally, you have to be prepared. It's like being prepared for battle, right? Mm-hmm. And you have to have all the nutrients you need to fuel the body. Then you have to have a comprehensive program with a timeline and exactly when you want to be in that condition, whether it's bodybuilding competition or a sports competition. You have to plan that in that 12 weeks, you're going to be ready to kick ass on the basketball court or the tennis court or weightlifter or whatever it may be, or bodybuilder on stage. You have to give yourself a timeline because there's phases of the training, intervals to where you get to that goal. And that's what a lot of people don't do. They just think, I'll just go to the gym, starve myself, intermittent fast, train like this. Well, no, your body, everybody's body's different. What Jake Cutler for Mr. Olympia did is not the same thing Ronnie Coleman or Arnold Schwarzenegger did. There's a lot of things you have to take in consideration. Do you have a slow thyroid? Do you have a fast thyroid? Do you have low testosterone? Do you have high testosterone? Do you have high estrogen? You have to know the body chemistry. It's like whenever I'd work with like Matt Damon or one of these Al Pacino or any of these well-known action stars, blood work first. Because I need to know what's going on in your body. I need to know the body chemistry. We need to know what you're deficient in, vitamins and minerals, DHA, vitamin D3, what's your estrogen level, what's your cortisol level, what's your T3, T4, what's your free testosterone. People don't know that. You can look at a chart, get the blood work, and you go, Mike, it says my testosterone level is fine. I go, fine? Well, here's how it works when you get blood work. Doctors will scan down the chart and go, okay, as long as I don't see L for low or H for high, you're normal. And they'll scan and go, you're fine, nothing's wrong. Now, it's like in school. Do you want an A or do you want a D? Okay? Because if the chart says the range is 8 to 10 is optimal and anything below it is normal, but if it goes below 3, so now if you were just at 3, he'd say you're normal, which is just a tad away from very low. I'd rather have you close to around that 9.5, right near that 10, because that's optimal. Okay? High would be, of course, it could create inflammation and so on. So when I look at it, I tell people we need to make some adjustments. Then 3 months later, do the blood work. Everything is at the top of the chart at the optimal level. Now they're functioning like a high-functioning machine, like a Ferrari. Before, they were like a struggling Fiat, just getting by. So that's what Doctors are Notorious is about, is as long as they don't see L and as soon as they see H, you're normal. But you can have a very, very low testosterone. Now, also people don't understand is you can have a very good testosterone level, but it's your free testosterone level that dictates your ability to build muscle. And the way you raise your free testosterone is it has to be injectable testosterone because the pellets, the cream, does not raise your free testosterone, won't raise your libido. It'll put the numbers that say your body's producing a certain amount of testosterone. You have no sex drive, no ability to build real deep, thick muscle tissue, and you'll be all show and no go in the bed. Okay, so I teach people to understand the body, how it works, and how essential blood work is, because that's the roadmap to success. Because I also don't put people on a heavy-duty muscle-building workout if their testosterone, their free testosterone, is very low. And if someone has a low thyroid, which they call hypos, I give them a little more cardio, moderate amount of weight training, but I do everything I can to stimulate the metabolism, and then we can switch things over. But everything has to do with what's going on with your body, chemistry. And it's a science now. It's not just like, hey, here's a workout, here's a diet plan, get as much sleep as possible, and that's it. No, it's more than that. Did you know that what you see affects your body chemistry? So when you see something disturbing on the news, that creates a production of cortisol, all this adrenaline going. Then if you hear about something that's disturbing, same effect happens. If you touch something, it can get absorbed into the body, and then you could start getting a negative reaction. And what you breathe in can create toxicity. Secondhand smoke or any kind of aerosol sprays or propellant is toxic to the body. So what we see, what we hear, what we touch, what we breathe affects our body chemistry. Did you know, like, say, for instance, if someone is having an anxiety attack and is very anxious, or someone's very depressed, it stimulates their body. It sends this, it's like this magnetic wave to us where it's contagious. Being depressed, it can be contagious. That's why, like, if you're around people depressed, it's always to bring a puppy or something around because it kind of neutralizes it. So if someone has panic attacks and all the time, you spend a lot of time with them, you'll start feeling anxious. It just happens. The body has that ability. So that's why, like, when I'm training at the gym, I am focused on what I'm doing. I'm looking at myself in the mirror. If I happen to see a very well-developed, defined woman, I focus on that because I know I'm getting stimulated with a positive effect. if I see someone walking by the gym kind of slumped over, whatever, I close my eyes because I don't want to see that because they have bad energy. Your body can absorb energy that someone is 10, 12 feet away. People don't understand that.
Wow.
Oh, no, I'm very much about that. And I found that my body functions optimal when I live my life like that. But in the gym, if you're around people that are training hard, like a surfer riding the wave with all these other surfers, you got the best high. You got to go. But you're transmitting the same positive energy. So negative people can transfer negative energy to you. That's why Arnold always taught me when I was a kid, when I was 14 years old, we were sitting at breakfast, stay away from negative people. People that don't believe in you, don't support you, because that can poison your mind, poison your soul. So that's why I like what you're doing, whatever I could do. Anything with those kids or even adults, anybody needs help. Because I feel bad. A lot of times I see like these former pro athletes, their knees, they could barely walk, their hip, they're hunched over. I feel bad for them. I'd love to help them out. Especially when we talked about, remember years ago, helping the retired pro ball players that spent all their money.
Yeah.
And all the money got blown, all their entourage of people.
The earlier guys didn't even make any money. The guys that made the league, and their name, image, and their likeness is being used to the rich get richer, and they're having to auction memorabilia to have body parts amputated.
Oh,
the guys from the '60s started to get better in the '70s, but now the money's just ridiculous. But these young boys, they don't appreciate how hard it was.
Yeah.
For us older.
Now, do they have
guys.
Some kind of fund for ball players?
The NBA is very protective of their product. When they sign you, they're signing your name. You can't even profit they can sell your jersey and you not get paid from it. For the rest of, even long after you're dead. As a matter of fact, it'll make more money after you die. So a lot of the older guys survive just by doing autograph sessions, things like that, making personal appearances, and that's catch as catch can. L.A. has one of the few chapters of the Retired NBA Players Association. There is nothing I played in 35 countries, and there's nothing for retired international players. So we just got to pick and choose our battles, and that's one of the reasons I hope when I start getting really into this fundraising, to be able to help those that need it the most.
So now if someone wants to get in touch about the fundraising, do you have a website or anybody can go?
That's a work in progress.
So people can get in touch with you and help support this mission, and then let's see if we can get Shaq and Arnold together. And
that's the move right there. And this is such my baby. That's why I could have farmed it out to get the real professionals to do a website. But I'm in there wanting to do it myself and just make it come from the heart.
But there's a lot of young guys out there, young girls, that are these little tech geniuses.
Yeah.
They could put stuff together real quick, a website.
Yeah, I know. But I like getting hands off.
I hear you.
Yeah, hands on.
But just remember, 20 minutes, pick your head up, take a break.
There you go. I'm going to do that because I get caught up.
You'd be surprised. Hours go by and you're like, you've been like this the whole time, and you got to hydrate. See, remember years ago when runners used to carbohydrate overload? This is the funny thing. So the race would be on a Saturday, and then they would, on Friday, just eat as much carbs as they want. I mean, pasta, rice, bread, potato, all that. Then they'd go run the next day, and they were sluggish. Okay, because especially when you eat like bread or pasta and drink water, it becomes a very thick paste, and it's kind of backed up in the intestinal tract. Well, they also weren't drinking enough water. So what they found was when you carbohydrate overload the day before, you need to drink water because water takes the carbohydrate in your intestinal tract and then loads it into glycogen into the muscle. So then what would happen is the runners would do really terrible. They were weak or tired or yawning. Then Sunday, because runners always like to run the next day, they had more vascularity. Oh my God, I should have done this a few days earlier. And I said, no, what you exactly did was right. You just didn't drink any water. Oh yeah, I wasn't drinking water. So the water gives you power.
Yeah.
And that's a little simple thing.
Yeah.
And if they just sipped water every bite they had, just making sure they're giving the water to drive the glycogen into the muscles, they could have won that race or been in the top 10 or top 5, right? So little things like this that we share with these kids are priceless because then they're going to pass it on to their kids and their kids and their kids because look what the ball players were in the 60s and 70s compared to what we know about nutrition and training now.
One of my biggest peeves was when I was a teacher and educator is the candy machines and the soda machines and all that stuff, the red dyes, and they couldn't wait for, break, in between classes to run over there and load up on all those chemicals, and now they're all hyped up and they can't sit down and focus because they've got all that sugar running in and out of their system and the whole 9 yards.
Especially that red vines, all the if you ever read on the back of the can, all the chemicals in there.
I had put together a program before I met you. That's why when you came to me with the fitness program,
Yeah.
I had put together. I brought in vegan chefs to prepare food for the teachers in the morning, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then it got so popular that the parents of the students wanted to enroll their kids so that they can have, and it kept us from having to run off campus and grab up, in the food desert, hamburgers or pizzas or chicken or whatever, something really quick. We could focus more on teaching the kids, and kids could focus more on education. It got so popular that they shut us down and said, you have to eat the food that the school board says this is the required nutrients that you're supposed to have on your daily, and we were like, what? And it was like, but that's one of my favorite things I did as a teacher. And then you came to me with the program that Shaq wound up doing.
Yeah.
Shaq's Big Challenge, where they overhauled the food systems and they brought in the, so that was just such a brilliant idea.
Well, I'm glad. Listen, I was just happy it got done.
Yeah.
And it was great. You had Shaq to be able to be that front person because they love him.
Yeah.
He had that influence. My goal was about just making sure that message gets out. So to me, it was a win-win.
Yeah. It was.
But we're going to do a lot more. And
kids can't lose. We got to make sure the kids can't lose.
Yeah. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
It's been a blast.
Yeah, if anybody you care about, please share this episode. It's inspirational. You'll learn about the journey that Dawan had as a pro athlete, and now he's a philanthropist and just doing great things. And if you want to reach out to him, and we'll have his website on my podcast when this comes out, but also you can go to operationfitness.com. We'll have the contact link. Just send me your request if you want to get in touch with Dawan Scott, and we'll put you together. But please share this episode and subscribe. We need your support. Thank you. And I want to do a special thank out Texas Slim Cuts for supporting this show and his beef initiative. That's next level beef. You have choice, you have prime. Texas Slim is next level beef, which is the healthiest beef on the planet. Thanks for watching.